At last, prescribing puberty blockers to children is a criminal offence in the UK, enforced by our Labour government, would you believe? Labour is going to review the decision to administer puberty blockers to young people, monitoring the potential health risks of this treatment. This is only temporary, however, and it doesn't necessarily mean that this issue is over altogether, as relentless backlash has already hit Streeting. Transgender children, or trans youth, are classed as young people between the ages of 13 and 20 who do not identify with the sex they were born as. It's a growing controversy in Western society right now, with the debate, can a child even be transgender? Well, no, they can't. More pressingly, should children be able to access gender-affirming care? Wes Streeting, the UK's Labour Health Minister, has declared an emergency protocol over the prescription of puberty blockers to treat under-18s with gender dysphoria after speaking with multiple professionals and reviewing studies. The Commission of Health and Medicine released independent expert advice stating that there is an unacceptable safety risk in the continued prescription of puberty blockers to children. Streeting has reiterated his desire to improve healthcare for trans people of all ages and insists that this is not an action that attacks transgender individuals, but rather ensures the safety and well-being of young trans people.
In the past few months, I have met with young trans people who have been, may be, or will be affected by the decisions I and my predecessor have taken. I've listened to their concerns, their fears, and their anxieties. The CAS review made clear that there is not enough evidence about the long-term effects of using puberty blockers to treat gender incongruence to know whether they are safe or beneficial. That evidence should have been established before they were ever prescribed for this purpose.
As expected, this has received lots of backlash by allies of the queer community. Looking on Pink News, someone with the username JS states, "As always, Wes Streeting continues to be a ghoul. Puberty blockers are 100% safe and effective. Streeting hasn't banned these supposedly dangerous and untested drugs for kids with endocrine disorders. It's almost like the ban is nothing more than anti-trans political culture war theatre, and has nothing whatsoever to do with actual medicine or safety." Many have also criticised using Hilary Cass, a paediatrician, as a source of gender-related information. Hilary Cass is the author of the Cass Review, which explored gender treatment in the trans-identifying youth. The aim was to ensure that children exploring their gender identity were being treated with high standards and being kept safe. This review found that more needed to be done to prioritise the safety and care of patients, and that insufficient evidence for puberty blockers treating gender dysphoria is concerning. Some have noted and spoke out against the positive reactions of the new legislation, stating that the oh-so-terrible far right have not got appropriate priorities. If the far right believe that puberty blockers and hormone treatments are harming children, then why is there no concern when it comes to precocious puberty? This is a puberty-based disorder where secondary sex characteristics begin to grow at a much younger age than expected. This can be because of hormones, infections, tumours, inflammation, quite a lot of other factors too. Nonetheless, the individual cause can often go undetected. To treat precocious puberty, a child with this disorder will complete monthly GnRH injections until he or she reaches the normal age of puberty, which is typically 13 years old. Treating a physical medical condition is so much different in comparison to treating gender dysphoria, a mental condition. It's like treating anxiety by using isolation, or treating anorexia with fat shaming. The Commission of Health and Medicine found that children were administered puberty blockers after completing an online questionnaire and participating in just one single Zoom call. Not only do our Labour government want to put a stop to the lack of safeguarding taken, but concerns were also raised regarding information provided to both children and parents about the medication they received. But will this ban prevent organisations such as GenderGP carrying on with their practices? GenderGP was founded in 2015 by Helen and Mike Weberly to address and solve the challenges faced by transgender individuals, providing accessible and informed care surrounding puberty blockers, hormone therapy, counselling and guidance. But the Weberleys weren't all as they seemed. In 2018, Helen was fined £12,000 for failing to register her online services with health regulators in Wales, and she excused this by saying that she had now moved to England. In mid-2022, Helen also had a licence suspended for 2 months due to putting multiple child patients at risk of harm. 2 children, ages 12 and 17, who were transitioning from female to male, were not followed up on after being prescribed testosterone. Another patient, aged 11, was not told the risks to fertility before being given puberty blockers. Similarly, her husband, Mike, wrongly prescribed sex change treatments to 7 patients, which was discovered in 2022. Between 2017 and 2019, he had taken care of patients due to restrictions on his wife's practices and provided treatments that were either not clinically indicated or after he had failed to conduct adequate tests, exams, or assessments. He also failed to gather consent from parents or guardians. One of these patients was a 9-year-old girl who identified as a boy known as patient V. Another patient, a teenager, took their own life after the treatment he had appointed. For Mike, these issues were all committed under GenderGP, an organisation that does not enforce parental consent, and they do not have any age restrictions for their treatment. GenderGP is one of many support networks out there that prescribe gender-affirming care to children without disclosing this to parental figures. Will this ban really prevent such bodies from issuing prescriptions or shipping them in a secret bag? Or will it force them to be more discreet in their ways? Whilst this legislation may appear to be for the greater good, many fear the exact opposite. Just like banning recreational drugs like cocaine or ecstasy, this will not prevent people from selling hormones for fear of the law. And how do we expect to enforce any law when child abusers are being spared jail regularly? Instead, I fear that other medicines will be sold under the pretense of supporting trans people, and prescribers will become more hidden in the ways they go about selling and prescribing. I guess we shall see what happens in the next few years. Thank you very much for watching. It's been Sydney Jones from Vox Populi. Please click the subscribe button and I will see you all soon.